The US dollar has been the world's currency for 80 years. Every country in the world needs dollars. Every country holds dollars in reserves. Oil is priced in dollars. Gold is priced in dollars. International trade happens in dollars. The dollar's status as the global reserve currency has given America unparalleled economic power. But that reign is ending, and most people don't even realize it's happening. When a currency is the reserve currency, it means the entire world depends on it. Countries need dollars to trade with other countries. They need dollars to buy oil. They need dollars to buy gold. They need dollars for everything. This creates a massive demand for dollars. Everyone wants dollars. Everyone needs dollars. And the US government controls the supply of dollars. The US can print as many dollars as it wants, and the rest of the world has to accept them. It's essentially a license to print money. For 80 years, this has been incredible for America. The government needed to fund wars. They printed dollars. The rest of the world accepted the dollars because they needed them to trade. The government needed to bail out banks. They printed dollars. The rest of the world accepted them. But something is changing. Slowly, quietly, the world is moving away from the dollar. In 2024, BRICS nations began conducting trade without the dollar. BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These are 5 of the 10 largest economies in the world. They represent almost 3 billion people. They started trading directly with each other in their own currencies. They stopped using the dollar. Why? Because they realized they didn't need to. They had enough economic power to create their own trading system. They didn't need permission from America. They didn't need the dollar. China created its own digital payment system. Russia created its own SWIFT alternative. India, Brazil, and South Africa created bilateral trade agreements in local currencies. The dollar was being cut out of the loop. At the same time, other countries started asking why they need to hold dollars in their reserves. Japan started buying gold instead of dollars. Germany started buying gold instead of dollars. Turkey, India, and dozens of other countries started buying gold and moving away from dollar reserves. The trend is clear. The world is moving away from the dollar. Now, why does this matter? It matters because of the Triffin dilemma. This is a concept named after economist Robert Triffin. The dilemma is this. If a country wants its currency to be the global reserve currency, it has to run trade deficits and let other countries hold its currency. This means the country has to spend more than it earns. It has to go into debt. America has been running trade deficits for decades. America imports more than it exports. America is in debt, trillions of dollars in debt. The government can sustain this debt only as long as the dollar is the reserve currency. As long as the world needs dollars, the world will buy American debt. But if the dollar stops being the reserve currency, the world stops needing to buy American debt. The world starts selling American debt. Demand for dollars crashes. the value of the dollar crashes, the purchasing power of the dollar crashes. What happens when a reserve currency loses its status? Let's look at history. The British pound was the reserve currency for over 100 years. Then it lost that status after World War II. What happened to the British economy? It collapsed. The pound lost over 40% of its value. The British standard of living declined for a generation. That's what happens when you lose reserve currency status, and it's about to happen to America. Here's where it gets scary. America is even more dependent on the dollar's reserve currency status than Britain was. America runs massive trade deficits. America has massive amounts of debt. The only reason the rest of the world finances this debt is because they need dollars. The moment they stopped needing dollars, they stopped financing the debt. What happens then? The government can't pay for anything. The military can't be funded. Social security can't be paid. Infrastructure can't be maintained. The government has to dramatically cut spending. The economy crashes. Or the government prints money to pay for everything. Hyperinflation happens. The dollar becomes worthless. The economy crashes anyway. There's no good outcome. Either way, the economy crashes. Now, here's what's really interesting. The government and the banks know this is happening. They know the dollar's status is declining. They know a crisis is coming. But they're not preparing the public for it. They're not being honest about it. Why? Because admitting it would cause a panic. It would accelerate the collapse. So they're quietly preparing behind the scenes. The Federal Reserve is quietly buying gold. The US government is quietly accumulating resources. The wealthy are quietly moving their money into hard assets. Meanwhile, the average person is in the dark. The average person still thinks the dollar is safe. The average person still thinks America is stable. The average person is completely unprepared for what's coming. When the dollar loses reserve currency status, everything changes. The prices of imports skyrocket. The price of oil skyrockets. The price of food skyrockets. Inflation becomes severe. Your cost of living doubles. Your salary doesn't keep up. You get poorer. At the same time, people panic. They stop spending, but businesses lay people off. Unemployment rises. The economy enters a severe recession or depression. The wealthy, they're fine. They own assets that are priced globally. They own real estate. They own gold. They own foreign currency. They own stocks. As the dollar crashes, these assets either stay the same or go up in value. The wealthy preserve their wealth. The middle class and the poor, they get devastated. Their savings are destroyed. Their jobs are eliminated. Their homes lose value. Their standard of living collapses. This has happened before. After the pound lost reserve currency status, the wealth gap in Britain expanded dramatically. The rich got richer. The middle class shrank. The poor got poorer. It will happen again with the dollar. The only question is timing. Here's what's important to understand. This isn't a prediction. This isn't a theory. This is how the system works. Every reserve currency eventually loses its status. Eventually, every empire declines. Eventually, every currency collapses. It's not a question of if. It's a question of when, and the signs suggest it's happening now. The dollar is losing status. The world is moving away from it. The system is shifting in real time. So what can you do? First, understand what's happening. Understand that the dollar's decline is inevitable. Understand that a major economic shock is likely. Understand that the current system cannot sustain itself. Second, prepare yourself. Move your wealth into assets, real estate, stocks, gold, foreign currency, anything that maintains value, regardless of what happens to the dollar. Third, tell others. Most people don't understand that the dollar is in decline. They think it will last forever. When people understand, they can prepare. When enough people understand, the transition will be less painful. The old system is dying. A new system is being born. Those who understand and prepare will thrive in the new system. Those who don't understand will suffer. Save this video. Share it with someone you care about, because the dollar's quiet death is the biggest financial story of our time, and almost nobody is talking about it.